Yeah, boom to the hay, all you sports fans out there in the tubosphere, to you, the individual, as part of the collective. Welcome to Fast Track Sports Track College here on Talk Radio version of the OMSR. I am your brief but concise host, Will, the alternative ESPN Sports Throw. Always do a little show like this, let you know the clip order coming up. To the whys and wherefores, plus a quickie sport round of the segment. Most of you repeat viewers and subs know this. Talk briefly and concisely about fans coming out of the stands, specifically the Yankees and Orioles. Alright, so all video highlights courtesy to ESPN and The Herd, with Colin, everything else, to the OMSR. Alright, quickie sport rant to the segment. We're talking specifically, briefly, and concisely about He tells a caller, it comes up about 3/4 of the way through the video highlights coming up, that because the caller's premise is like, well, you guys shouldn't be showing highlights of this and you wouldn't get copycat repeats. But Colin was right. In the context of SportsCenter or any other multiple miscellaneous sports clip highlight show on any network, no. And as a matter of record, there wasn't, nor isn't, any of this available. At least not through ESPN. Maybe somebody put it up on YouTube. This would have been caught live from the game. Or like a show that focuses on that particular sport. That's how I was able to catch the Santa Barbara, Hawaii incident. But I would just say, yeah, baseball, that's got to be the scariest place because you're far away from everybody else. In basketball, your teammates are nearby, security's nearby. But in baseball, you know, you got a stadium full of, oh, let's just go with a nice round even figure here. 30,000 people, and one comes running at you. You're thinking, this is the one guy who came to the game or whomever. It's always a guy. Women don't do this. Although the gal in the pink who used to do that, it was sort of thought, oh, isn't that cute back then? You know, they were calling time. It's no longer acceptable. Totally agree with that. And totally agree with the notion, being isolated such as you are in a baseball position, especially in the outfield. Yeah, it's got to be kind of a scary thought. So Colin's also going to get into, so I like to give you sort of a heads up because I don't treat my sports audience as bluntly, as straight up in your face. Try to put it a little more, I mean, let's just face it, the OMSR's more sensitive, delicate, diplomatic in my choice of language. But the point is clear. You know, sports figures have no way of knowing out of X amount group of people. Let's go with another like nice round figure. 15,000 at a basketball stadium. It might be a safe assumption. One or two of them could do something kooky. Like the Santa Barbara, Hawaii game. That's on the channel. And there's a comment on there that says, this guy's a hero. Like, are you serious? Seriously? What's he? Oh, I could go on and on about it. Go ahead and read that one if you got the time. I'm sure you heard about it. Maybe you haven't seen it. And he got kind of blasted for it. What's so heroic about that? Asinine and idiotic. Yes, these are the appropriate terms it should be called. So anybody you know who may be predisposed or inclined or just watch the alcohol intake, you know, a lot of, many a dumb thing, hey, watch me go do this, we're gonna go, yeah. Next day, you think, remember, the dudes who were doing this last night think it's a good idea today? No. Alright, that's what's coming up. Thanks for watching. Those silly DUIs while you're out there. Roll clips.
The Herd with Colin Cowherd on ESPN Radio.
ESPNradio.com.
It's The Herd on ESPN Radio. Wherever you may be, however you may be listening, thanks for making us part of your day. Presented by Progressive Insurance. All of our guests via the Subway Fresh Take Hotline. And, of course, as always, simulcast on ESPN. Remember going to see Jerry Seinfeld about 10 years ago? May have been a little longer. He was performing at the Schnitz in Portland, Oregon. It's this kind of ornate, old downtown theater. And I went to it and had average tickets, nothing great. And there was a heckler. And it was just, typical drunk dude. And I'm thinking, I spent like 100 bones for a Jerry Seinfeld ticket, you know. I'd seen him once before in Vegas, and, you know, I've seen a lot of guys. I've seen Colin Quinn a few times, Richard Lewis, people I really like. And Seinfeld was one of those guys I really liked, so I went to see him. And a heckler started heckling. And I'm thinking, it's Jerry Seinfeld. It's Jerry Seinfeld. Really? Idiot, like I paid for you? There's a percentage, and it's always young males. Fans have always had sort of an elevated sense of how much they matter in the food chain. And, you know, the truth is, sports has really changed. Gate revenue is just not that important anymore. I mean, the NFL's making, I think they're making $9.5 billion a year in television money. That doesn't count Budweiser. That doesn't count advertise. That's just on TV stuff. That $74 ticket, sorry, it's not paying the bills. And yesterday, when a fan ran onto the field during the Yankee Oriole game, Adam Jones got very upset, and increasingly, I have found that what really happens when fans run onto the field, it creates an even bigger gap between fans and players. Fans no longer need players. They don't need you. They don't have to sign autographs. They've already got the money guaranteed from the TV contracts and endorsements. And every time a fan runs on the field, a little boy doesn't get an autograph. Because players look at fans as wackos and idiots. So every time you cheer, when a guy runs on the field at Yankee Stadium or any stadium, there's a little girl that went to a game to get an autograph, and the player's like, wacko's not interested. For every loser with a backpack, 48-year-old guy that makes a career out of selling autographs, for every time you see that guy, a little boy in Modesto, California, goes to a Dodger game, and the player wants nothing to do with autographs. So all these autograph hounds and these fans running on the field, they're creating this gap between fans and players, and it's just getting wider and wider and wider. And Adam Jones last night, you can hear it, visceral. You can hear his animosity toward fans who not only run on the field, but you can sense how players now kind of think of fans.
I think it's idiotic for people to run on the field, and I think the punishment needs to be a lot harsher, and they should let us have a shot to kick them with our metal spikes on. Because it's stupid. I just look at it, it's stupid. You look like a jack when you run on the field. You know, we don't go to any other events. We don't go to other sporting events and do that to their jobs, but they come to ours and do that. I get it. You're drunk, and you want to be on Sports Center. You're going to jail with a fine. You might not be allowed to come back to the ballpark. That's heads up. And I remember a couple years ago, one dude broke his ankle in Baltimore. I was laughing at him. I wish he shattered his femur, because it's stupid. It's just point blank stupid. And anybody who does it, I wish the cops tased the living out of them. I wish that.
And I hear that now more and more. I mean, basically pro athletes, they look at fans and laugh at them and roll their eyes. And now there's this increasing animus toward fans. People running on the field, backpack guy at the Super Bowl, mounds of memorabilia outside of their hotel. You know, it's just one of those things where you cheer that guy, but he's hurting you. And I mean, let's be honest about sports. The great part about it, you can take your kids to it. I mean, that's one of the great things about sports. I take my daughter every year, my kids, to a Major League Baseball game. Last year it was the Angels. Year before it was the Mariners. Year before it was the Red Sox. Year before it was the Yankees. I'm trying to go to San Diego this year. We go, and it's a great experience. But those athletes, they don't want anything to do with kids because of backpack guy and guy running on the field. Just, yeah, it's really sad, because I think that's one of the great things that a little boy looks up to somebody. You can see their eyes, and they see the pro athlete, the baseball player come over, and you can just see the kid's eyes. He's in awe of it. And those moments are, you know, indelible. Fewer and farther between. It's just sad, but I'll tell you, when I talk to pro athletes, they're judging you, and I talk to them, and then increasingly they don't want anything to do with fans. They figure out where fans are, and they try to escape them. They have like escape routes. They're literally like, how do I get through the hotel? How do I get this? It never used to be that way. It used to be a pro athlete, if you were at a bar, would buy you a drink and talk to you. Every 5-10 years. Now it's like they do everything they can to create security. Fans to go to the games now, the mark. $9 beers, $12 burger, gas there, PSLs, don't get the replays, don't get the analysis. It's a headache to get in. It's even longer to get home. Ticketmaster fees, $22 parking. Game's bad, I can switch the channel. Like you were saying this morning, like you think fans are almost now become the in-stadium fans.
If someone's being taken advantage of in that equation, it's got to be the people sitting in the building.
It is, you know, the prices are not going down, the experience. That's why I'm a big believer in curtailing alcohol. I mean, I'm telling you, man, you go to these NFL games, it is just lollapalooza. It is just drunks everywhere. And it's like, we like the game, right? You can go to a football game without drinking. Baseball, it's warm, it's the summer, you have a $19 Heineken, I get it, but football, it's cold, you're not thirsty. You don't need the beer sponsors that badly. Just say, all right, then don't advertise with the NFL. You think they're not going to? You don't need to serve beer. Believe me, those beer sponsors are lining up either way. It's a competitive industry. Just tell all of them, we're cutting beer sales in stadium. First quarter done. What are they going to do? All right, we're going at Budweiser. All right, we'll use Miller and Coors Light. Bye-bye, take care. We got a zillion viewers. You don't need those companies. They need you. Beer companies need the NFL a lot more than the NFL needs the beer companies. They go into New York City. They go into Washington, D.C. They go into Los Angeles. They want to make an impact. You don't think potentially someday sports stars, sports icons in America being attacked wouldn't have a psychological impact? You don't think? For all these baseball guys sitting out there, basketball players, you're in a stadium of 19,000 people and an idiot runs toward you. You have no idea in 2014 who he is. Used to be funny and cute. It's not anymore. A 17-year-old moron, Steve Consalvi, who got tased in Philadelphia, and the media supported him. His dumb dad said, he wasn't on drugs. How do you know in the time? His dad says, Shane Victorino wasn't in danger. How does Shane Victorino know that at the time? We live in a different world. Drive in any major city downtown, look around, people are talking to themselves. I mean, I drove the other day to an AAU basketball tournament in not the greatest part of Hartford. You can see the desperation. You can see the mental instability on the sidewalks. You can go $6 to get in a ticket. Have a couple drinks. These guys are targets. It's not the same anymore. 17-year-old guy, heckler at a comedy club. You don't know who's out there. I mean, every time in America today, if you're at your work and you hear breaking news, doesn't every parent think the same thing? Is it a school? You don't know. You don't know. Right now in Kansas City, they have 13 recent shootings along roads. They're asking for federal help. The internet has given access to weapons. Mental, cutbacks in social programs. So, the guys running on the field last night, oh, dude, awesome. It's not. Taser them, handcuff them, bury them, jail them, put them away.
Don't tase me, bro.
Get them out of there. And it's just, think outside yourself for a second. You're an outfielder in Major League Baseball, and a guy comes running toward you in 2014. You're outside your little Facebook, Twitter world. You have no idea who that is. Players are on an island. Yeah, but they make a lot of money. That mansion doesn't matter when there's nobody within 80 feet of you and a guy comes running after you.